Welcome back to On the Path, where we discuss all things Witcher, or we explore all things Witcher, and we're finally to Skellige.
Skellige. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Skellige. Okay,
Yeah.
and Skellige is a nice mixture of, seems Vikings.
Yeah.
And Celtic and Gaelic, Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever I was watching back, like the difference between Skellige and Novigrad is vast. So everyone in Skellige is like wrapped up in armor and furs, and they've got these great, they're all battered as well. Like their faces are all bruised and battered. They're not like, I know obviously Novigrad has got a lot of like peasant people walking around, but there's also these very lavish people in there, very, very fancy outfits. But everyone here is like hard as nails, and they've got great accents. There's like a good, they're great. So there's like, I've never ever heard a Northern Irish accent in a game in my life. And there's a lot of Northern Irish accents specifically. And then you hear like some Scottish, some Southern Irish. Yeah, it's very Celtic vibes. So
do you remember off the top of your head who has the most thick or specific Northern Irish accent?
Well, in this quest specifically, Berna, she says a word which I don't know if you will have picked up on or not. So maybe I'll wait until later to say what it was.
Now I'm too curious.
She says that she believes the king of Skellige should have more power.
Pyre? More pyre?
And it just reminded me of power hours.
Pyre hours. So like power.
Yeah, like power, yeah. So I say power because my Northern Irish accent is not that strong because I lived in England for a long time.
Oh, that's true.
But she says the king of Skellige should hold more power.
Power.
Like, that's so good. They have it spot on.
Power. Yeah, it was all over. And we'll get to that. We'll get that. House cleaning, I think that's what I called it last time. We did have a lovely YouTube comment. You want to go ahead and read that?
Yeah, it was from Maddie, and she said, great episode as always. I feel so chill and at peace whenever I listen to OTP. Skellige side quests are going to be off the hook when we get there, and I agree. I was looking through the list of main quests of Skellige, and again, the list of main quests, super short, but then the side quests are just beyond, like, wild, and there's so many good little Witcher contracts as well, so I agree, Maddie.
There seems to be less side quests here, but they seem to be more noticeable.
Yeah.
Or they stand out more.
Specifically, I can think of one really good one with Ceres.
Baby in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give the baby to Udalric.
See, that ties into this. We're going to do Destination Skellige today, and The King is Dead, Long Live the King. And those two, the one with Hjalmar and the one with Ceres, kind of tie into King is Dead, Long Live the King. So while those, I guess those technically would be mainstay. I guess you do have to do those. You just have to do one of them. Yes. Yeah, you have to do one of them. Okay, so yeah, we'll kind of go in order there and then maybe cover the other one. Just depends on the side quest. We may just mix some of them in if they are that intertwined with the main story. So one other thing, we're not going to go over it too much, but if you did look at the comments, you probably saw a very long one on there that was very denigrating towards me. We were going to have some fun with it. It's still up there if you want to read it. Again, the most offensive thing about it was the lack of punctuation. But at the same time, it basically involves or referenced, if you will, like me specifically, giving political opinions on the show. The political opinions I'm giving on the show are related to The Witcher 3. Trust me, y'all haven't heard me giving political opinions, okay? Watch my stream or look at my Twitter and see who I tweet guillotines at, okay? I'm not doing it. But this goes to show if somehow this is your first episode. You know, we covered the thing with the abortion because it was literally in the text of the book. Yeah. To a character where the characters, including Geralt and Regis, who will come up later on, are literally talking about abortion and a woman's right to choose. Okay.
That's the thing. Like, you're not reaching at all. Like, it is there. No. You're not having to really go into the depths of things to find it. Like, it's there, and it's not us just trying to twist it our own way.
No, not at all. Like I said, that can be done other ways, not doing it. And again, I know with a lot of whispers when I did the book thing on my own, I did a lot of that because, you know, the book's getting into that more, but that's not here. So I didn't think we'd bring this up for a third episode in a row. Hopefully it's the last time we bring it up. But if you don't know, these books, and by proxy, the games, are very political. Okay. That's what fantasy does a lot of times. It kind of takes that allegorical sense of the real world and puts it into this fantastical world. Okay.
Mhm.
So again, if you don't like politics in your games, The Witcher is not for you. But we all know what that means is they don't want my politics. They want their politics.
Uh-huh.
And those are very different. Again, we have the Scoia'tael. If we ever do The Witcher 2, The Witcher 2 involves the Scoia'tael. The Scoia'tael are, you want to talk about completely political or just being partisans and people taking over. Like that's a whole other thing. So we're not going to delve too far into it. I just wanted to get that, cleared out. I guess more on the record, if you will.
Yeah.
But make sure, again, as all of these episodes are on YouTube, comments are down there. Make a good comment down there. We'll talk about it. Or maybe something like that. We may address that as well. Make sure you do that. Like and subscribe over there on the Gwentfinity channel. Another thing I wanted to make note of is since we joined over there, Mark Theist from 983 from Gwentfinity has been editing our episodes, and they've been doing everything on that sense. Like literally we do this, we send it to them. They do the videos.
Yeah.
They do all of that editing. It's incredible. It's saving us countless hours. We're eternally grateful for them doing it. So make sure wanted to shout them out in the good work that they are doing over there. All right. I think that should cover everything, right?
Yeah, I think
Rate and
so.
review. Yeah.
Rate and review. You know it.
I know when
Spoiler
people binge,
alert, yeah.
Yeah, when I binge a podcast, you just keep hearing the same stuff, but I have to realize some people don't. This might be their first time doing it. So yes, rate and review, Apple and Spotify. You have on there, it's up to 86 on Spotify. Let's try to get that to 100. Sure, why not? It's a nice round number.
It's pretty close.
Yep. And again, the more that comes out, the more that it helps with algorithms and searches. Yes, I'm so tired.
I know. You've been hitting the gym.
Well, I've started, wild. Yes. I have to do these challenges to hold myself accountable. And I wanted to do one before TwitchCon.
Yeah.
And so the one I'm doing right now is when I wake up, it's 100 push-ups, 200 core moves. And then throughout the day, it's 15,000 steps.
That's wild.
It's less than 100 grams of carbs, which is big mistake. Should have done 150. I think it's less than 25 grams of total sugar, like natural sugar, and less than 5 grams of added sugar and no alcohol.
Oh,
I think that's it. No alcohol. And then 45 minutes of like weight training in that sense. So this is my third day and
you're tired.
I'm tired, which also goes into this next point that I didn't tell Lucy about that I'm going to tell now. Somehow, because I do everything on Google Drive, somehow I have lost or misplaced my notes for this episode. So no. I've got like 4 or 5 tabs pulled up of stuff I wanted to say referenced. And we'll see what happens in his mind.
We'll see how it goes.
So yeah, with that, I wanted to spring that on her now. So we wouldn't bail out of it, but no, we're going to be fine. So, but I think with that, I think we can start here with Destination Skellige and the King is Dead. Long live the King.
Yeah. So first of all is Destination Skellige, and that is our quest that becomes unlocked pretty early in the game, but it's advised not to do it until you're leveled up and you sort of finish Novigrad. So yeah, we're off to Skellige, and first of all, you need to find a ship, and more importantly, you need to find a ship with a captain who's willing to take you there. So you get 3 options, 2 of which will flat out refuse to take you there, and they direct you to the Golden Sturgeon Tavern to find Captain Wolverstone, and he captains a ship called the Artropos. The very drunk captain, very drunk, he's like slamming shots, and when Geralt's like, will you take me to Skellige, he's like, yeah, slams one more shot, says it's going to cost him 1,000 crowns, which is quite a lot. That's another reason why you can't take the quest on earlier in the game, because you probably won't have 1,000 crowns at that point. But yeah, he agrees. You pay him 1,000 crowns and you can go straight away. Geralt goes to sleep in the cabin, and then you're suddenly awoken and we're being attacked by pirates. So this is our introduction into Skellige. It kind of reminds me, I haven't played this game, but Sea of Thieves. I felt like I was playing Sea of Thieves at this point. You're attacked by pirates, and yeah, you end up getting knocked out because the ship crashes and we wake up on the shores of Ard Skellig.
This has that's another one of those like massive tropes that I'm just like, okay, I guess we just have to live with it, is getting knocked out, thrown overboard, and not drowning.
Yeah, we're totally fine.
And washing up ashore. And I would like to know how many times that happens in real life. Like, how likely is that? Any marine biologist, well, maybe not a marine biologist, anybody out there spends a lot of time out there, a fisherman or fisher person or anybody like that. what are the odds of you getting knocked out in an ocean or a sea and then washing ashore alive?
Yeah, because surely even if you are close to the shore, if you're knocked out, you're not going to be right way up or anything like that. You don't need to be underwater that long to drown.
No. Yeah. No, like if you're face down, you're dead, like 100%.
Yeah.
And then it's not like a pool where you're just gently rocking. It's an ocean with waves.
Yeah.
You're going to breathe. I don't know. Either way. Yeah. It
Imagine that was how the game ended.
That would
Carol
be
drowns, the end.
It's just a random like 50-50 whether you drown or not. You're like, damn, hope you're not playing Iron Man.
So this guy is trying to rob us as we wake up. He's called Steingrim, and we get chatting to him, and he speaks pretty badly of this sorceress that we're trying to find. And he says, he references that she always wears black and white, and if not for her tits, you'd think she was a beached orca.
Yeah, it's just, let's get this out of the way too. It's not really robbing if he thinks he's dead, right?
I don't know, you get grave robbers, don't you?
See, but that's true. And you say grave robbing. Well, I guess if it's a grave, it would be robbing because they were put there. But if a body's washed ashore,
it's fair game.
You think they're dead, it's not really robbing. It'd be like looting.
Yeah, looting, yeah.
Yeah, because robbing would imply, but I never even thought of that. Grave robber, when somebody's dead, are they actually robbing?
You'd be stealing all their treasures and stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah, this just sounds like we're about to just rip a bong here.
Hold on,
hey man, like, is it grave robbing if, they're not alive? Whoa, okay.
That'll be next week.
High thoughts for this summer. This episode, what the, okay, Jesus.
I'll carry on. Anyway.
There you go.
So we can defend this sorceress's honor and scrap this guy. Or you can say, she's not too bad once you get to know her. But either way, he's going to tell us the way to Caer Trolde. But before you leave, you can actually search the shipwreck and find that 1,000 crowns that you paid earlier. So you can get that back, which was a good little hint. I
definitely did not know that.
I didn't know that until I played it, and then someone was like, go back, search the ship. It took me ages to find it. You know what it's like when you're streaming on Twitch and someone's trying to give you instructions, and there's inevitably a delay on the stream. Regardless of how good your internet is, there's always a few seconds, at least minimum, a delay. So you could be running and then someone will go on your left, but by the time the message comes through and you've read it, you're like a few more steps forward. So you just go, it just never works. And bless the people that try and do that. And I'm like, I really, really appreciate it, but it never works.
I've banned like people that are on mobile. If they're saying something that's like behind, I'm like, are you on mobile? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, sorry,
at least 45 seconds.
Yeah. I think mine is like 20 something.
Yeah. Mine's so bad for some reason.
Yeah. And it's just like, hey, I'm sorry. Thank you. But I can't really do anything with 20 some odd seconds behind.
Yeah. So where are we going now? We're going to the port near Caer Trolde, where there's a funeral being held for King Bran of Clan Tuirsik. His body is put onto a boat and the boat is set on fire. So this is kind of like a Viking funeral, right?
Yeah, and there was something, and that's kind of where I was going to get into very, very heavily Viking influence by this, like much more than the Gaelic kind of Scottish, Irish. That honestly, I got more out of the book because there's the imagery you kind of have on your own. It seems to me that CDPR and the games have really emphasized, if you will, more the Viking aspects as opposed to like the Gaelic. Because this is, it's seemingly straight Viking right here. Yeah,
because to me, like the most Gaelic Irish thing about this is the voice. Other than that, it seems to me like Viking, Scandinavian vibes. Yeah,
the pirates, and I think. Some of them have like horned helmets, which again, there were never horned helmets with Vikings. Like I think everybody knows that by now because it's been said to death. But some people maybe still are just like, oh, Vikings didn't have horned helmets? No.
But another interesting thing about this is there was a young woman who gets onto the boat with him and kind of, sacrifices herself, I guess, to go on this last journey with him. And there's a lot of people making comments around saying it should be his wife going onto the boat with him. So this seems to be a bit of a tradition that if the king dies, the wife will go with him on this burning boat and essentially kill herself with her husband. But this queen has not done that. So who is this woman that's with him?
Well, I was gonna guess the king probably made that rule.
Well,
There's
probably,
no way
yeah.
there's no way the wives made that rule, and like that's got to be a man-made rule of just like, hey, when they died women, you got to go. Oh, I guess they didn't really have a say in it, did they?
Absolutely not. Yeah. So I think the Queen Berna, she makes some sort of comment like that as well. She's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay and be queen or whatever. She says she's going to stay with her son Svanriga, who we'll meet a little bit more properly later on. So whilst we're standing, sort of watching this all take place, the lovely Yennefer arrives. That's why, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got my little Yennefer necklace on today. My favorite thing. And we get one of Geralt's favorite lines, or my favorite lines of Geralt's, where you get to kind of flirt with her and say, "You smell wonderful." And she says, "Geralt, we're at a funeral." And he says, "You smell wonderful at this funeral," which I just love.
Yeah, that the horny Geralt's.
Yeah,
horny
at a funeral, Geralt. Come on.
At a Skellige funeral.
But there was something he says here, and I couldn't figure out what he meant. So he says, "We haven't seen each other in 2 years." And I'm thinking, does he mean 2 years since we met in White Orchard? Is that how long it's been in game? Or does he mean like we haven't properly seen each other in 2 years?
Yeah, I think that just might have been a mistake.
Because I was like, whoa, yeah. That can't be how long it's meant to be in game. No. Surely not.
No, so the game time doesn't ever seem to change. It seems to be no matter what you do, it's this time. Because again, there's like that, I know this is kind of not really a ceasefire, but it's like a stalemate in the war. Yeah. I would just assume that time doesn't really change here unless it's the main story. And yeah, I don't think it's been 2 years since White
Orchard. No, surely not. But then, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's one we can ask someone from CDPR next week if we meet anybody.
Oh, that's right. 1 week. Actually, what's today?
Thursday.
Oh, it's 1 week from today.
Yeah, this day next week, Brett and I will be in Amsterdam.
Hopefully.
I saw somebody's flight got cancelled today, so I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
that's a good beat for Mark to be part there.
Yeah, I saw a lot of British Airways flights got canceled, but it was August on. The thing that I saw said these were August on. And my thing is the only flight that I'm really worried about is my connection flight to Houston.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
It's a Wednesday at 2 p.m. That has to be the least travel time.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, so, it's not like a business type flight or...
No. And then everything over here, it seems to be more, it's not international. Mm-hmm. It seems to me weekend flights that are getting canceled and domestic. So I'm holding my breath. But,
I'm pretty hopeful. I can see us there this time next week.
Yeah.
We'll be chilling.
We'll tell ourselves that.
Yeah. So we go and catch up with Yennefer, and we tell her everything that we've learned in the game. It's a nice little recap. And then Yennefer tells us that there's been some kind of strange magical disaster on Ard Skellige, which she thinks that Ciri has caused. But there's this guy called Ermion who won't allow her to inspect the site. So as far as I'm aware, Ermion is Mousak.
Yeah, it's the same
Mousak
character.
is Ermion, same character. So basically he was like, why would you describe his relationship with Ciri? Did he sort of, what is the word for that?
You talking about Mousak and Ciri?
Yeah. What's his role?
They make a ref when we get to later on in Ermion's like laboratory.
Yeah.
Laboratory. She said something about Ciri calling her Uncle Ermion.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. I'm drawing a blank as well. He raised her basically, more so, especially after because he does not die like he does in the show. He is 100% still alive as far as we know in the books, and obviously here in the games. Caretaker, if you will, upbringer. Like he taught her everything. The show did do a good job of that.
Yeah,
of showing
definitely.
That he definitely cared about her. She trusted him. Very. Not fatherly figure though, but more or less
like a guardian,
like an uncle or a guardian, but definitely very close and tight knit.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, he won't allow Yennefer to inspect this site where this weird magical disaster has happened. So we want to speak to Crack on Crate later on after the wake. And Yen basically tells us to go put on some nicer clothes and meet her there. And that's the end of the Destination Skellige quest.
Did you dress up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the tight doublet and
yeah. But he's got like a Skellige version. So earlier in the game, you get some fancy clothes to go out for a Nilfgaardian, what is it, the audience with the Emperor, and you have to put on the outfit, and that's a little bit different to the outfit you get here. So here you get a Skellige fancy outfit, which is a little bit different. It's got quite Celtic little embroidery on it and little Skellige slippers, which I thought were really sweet. But yeah,
he makes notice, or he also says something about like the things we do for love, or things we do for those we care about. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, when you arrive, she if you haven't put on the doublet, she's not very pleased with you, and she says, she makes some really funny comment about how we don't look very good. We don't look good. We don't look the part. She says, like, we look as good as a lace frill on a battle axe. Like, you look like shit and I look really good, basically, is what she's saying. Because this is the moment where she puts on this kind of iconic Yennefer outfit, and I see a lot of people cosplaying this outfit. Yeah. It's a really, really good one. One of her best ones, I think. So this is where we start. You don't have to start this quest at this point, I don't think, but you can go on and do The King is Dead, Long Live the King. So this is the wake for King Bran. And since Skellige does not have a hereditary monarchy, one of the parts of the wake is to nominate the new king. And whoever wants to step into the role can nominate themselves. That's how it works. But Yennefer and Birna are talking as we arrive, and Yennefer's saying how it's more of a symbolic position just to kind of unite the several clans that live on the different isles of Skellige. But Birna believes that the role should hold more power.
There you go. Power.
So we get inside and we get seated with Cerys on Crate, who is Crach's daughter, and the other Jarl's sons. And Cerys is quite, I don't know if the hot-headed is the word, but she seems really stubborn and determined to prove herself amongst the men. So she immediately...
Yeah, I would say more like self-conscious, if you will, because of that. Yeah,
a little bit insecure almost. She wants to make sure that people think she's worthy.
Yeah. That people think she's worthy. And it goes to note here, Cerys is a game creation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cerys is not in the books. Only Hjalmar is, who was like a childhood friend of Ciri. But yeah, Crach and Yen hooked up long time ago.
No way. Oh, wow. That makes it more awkward. I wonder if that's...
I know.
I didn't get that in the game, so maybe they do not reference that in the game. Did you?
That is a good thing to look for, because I don't remember it. For some reason, I thought they did when Geralt and Crach talk, but it might have slipped through. But another thing about Cerys is when you do all this, like when you do the race, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah.
They call her Sparrowhawk.
Yes.
And so when they call her Sparrowhawk, I'm like, yep, just like they did in the books. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait, Cerys isn't in the books. And it triggered another thing. Sparrowhawk is the nickname of Eredin, the king of the Wild Hunt.
Really?
Yes.
That's odd.
It is very, very, very odd. And that might be something that, again, down the road, as we replay this and go through it, they might say.
Yeah.
But because when it hit that, I'm like, wait, Sparrowhawk? Cerys wasn't in there. No, Eredin's a Sparrowhawk. And another guy is the fox. I don't want to say, I guess I shouldn't say his name yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know why.
Yeah, that would be too much of a strange coincidence for it to not be purposeful.
I don't know why. It's kind of weird. And the last thing is, and this was something I did not know, is there was a lot of stuff, cut from the game or changed from the game. And initially, I guess Cerys was supposed to be false Ciri.
Oh.
From the books. Like, that's what that is. And false Ciri was this girl who looked exactly like Ciri, like exactly like it, and was brought by the Nilfgaardian, like high command and intelligence, Vatier d'Aladu, to present to Emir and be like, look, we found Ciri. This is Ciri. And Emir sees right through it. You know, it's just like, well, they're bullshitting me, but this may be useful. And like, it ends in there with, this false Ciri on the throne. And then I guess what CDPR was going to do was she was going to be hiding out in Skellige. And like Ciri's true identity was going to be a false Ciri.
Oh, but that didn't happen.
No, it didn't, because they ended up making her Crach's daughter, and we get the game that we have now. But that was wild to me if they went that route. But that does explain how, I know we talked about earlier when we first met Emir, that none of that is referenced when literally the books end with this false Ciri like on the throne.
Really?
Like, and everybody thinks that's Ciri.
Yeah.
And so CDPR just was like, we're gonna put
didn't
blinders
see that
onto
bit.
that.
Yeah.
We're gonna block that off, and we're just gonna power ahead with that. So interesting decision doing it. I do think it would be vastly different if they did have a false Ciri, but maybe not.
One thing I noticed as well, just to jump back a little bit, when we go to Yen's room to try on outfits, if you have a look around the room, you can find Yen's journal and you can read it. And she writes about wanting to capture a djinn and wondering if Geralt will agree to help her. And then you can find another book called The Last Wish.
Oh,
so that's a little hint, maybe what might happen later in the game. And her room is full of Yen things and black and white clothes, lilac and gooseberry scent, and a stuffed unicorn, which we may or may not see later on.
Did
we talk about the race?
I think I just mentioned that they say that afterwards.
Yeah, I think
call
what
her that.
Yeah, they talk about how they've done a race before and Hjalmar won the race, but Hjalmar isn't at this wake. So Cerys kind of challenges Geralt to a race, and whether or not you win, you come back to the wake afterwards. And I think Geralt's so gracious in times like this, because if you beat her, he comes back and he's like, I beat her just by the skin of my teeth, she nearly had me. Or if she wins, he kind of lets her have all the glory and says, to Cerys, what a great woman. So like he's very lovely in times like this, I think.
She gives a very Ricky Bobby answer of, there's no losing by a hair. You either win or you lose.
Yeah.
And I lost. Like, okay, competitor. That's the Skellige competitiveness right there.
So this is quite a cool bit of the quest, because you can just wander around the room talking to several different characters and really get a feel for the Skelligan people. And there's a lot of women in the room, and Yen makes a lot of comments to Geralt about Skelligan women and how they're very strong. Cerys is seen as an equal to her brother Hjalmar, and the women of Skellige don't need looking after, if they're widowed. There was 2 women in here who talk about expecting to be widowed. They're like, this is the Isle of the Widows. We don't need a man to look after us if our husbands go missing. We'll be fine. And there's a lot of other people, quite big characters if you're going to delve into the side quests. So we meet Madman Lugos, we meet Udalric, and several other characters who will have a part to play in the game if you go really into it. Another thing that go on.
Well, I was going to say, with these characters, Madman Lugos stands out to me the most.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple things on here of what he says. This dude is just out of control.
Yeah.
Like his mouth. Call me goat one more time and I'll chop off your head, stick it on a pike, and piss down your neck hole. Okay. So and he's talking to Donar. On Donar on Hinder, Hinder, something like that. So then Donar basically says it's time to settle this and pulls out his sword, at which point Lugos laughs at him, saying, giving me a true fright right now, shat me best trousers. Put that away before you cut yourself, you
That's what I was going to say. He just straight up calls him a and I was like, whoa.
But it's just so, like, at the first time, it's like, I'm going to piss down, I'm going to beat the shit out, like that. This is just put that away before you cut yourself. And like he's done. And then he just adds on,
so funny. Yeah.
Good and Lord, man.
And at the time, Geralt and Yen are kind of saying, this is not the place to do this. We're out of wake. I think, Skelligan clans call a truce at wake, so you don't do this. And yet there's, at the beginning of the quest, Yen specifically asks Geralt to not drink tonight because we need a clear head when we're going to speak to Crack. And then every time you have an encounter with a different character, they offer you to cheers to King Bran, and you can either say yeah and drink and you get a massive side eye from Yen and she's pissed, or you can say, I'm not drinking, and Yen is pleased with you. And that was one of those moments where you can either really get involved and you can actually fight Madman Lugos, I think.
Yeah.
And she's not happy. She is not happy at all. Or you can stay on a good side and just politely decline the drink and the fight as well.
I do like, though, that if you take the drink, you're upsetting Yen. But if you don't take the drink, you're definitely upsetting the host, like the Skelligans, the locals. because it would be unoffensive. It would be offensive
Mm-hmm.
to not drink to it, especially when they're toasting Bran, the dead king, and you're just like, nah, I can't take a drink. And I think Madman Lugos actually makes a comment of, yep, controlled by your land rats, controlled by your wenches.
Your wenches, so bad.
Land rats.
And I think they're all a little bit, they're not too fond of Yennefer as well, because they constantly refer to Nilfgaardians and the Black Ones. And obviously Jennifer has her, Jennifer's my friend. Yennefer has her ties with Nilfgaard, and she's a sorceress, so nobody's really warming to her. And one of my favorite comments Yen makes is that she thinks every woman from Skellige would make a good sorceress, because they're all so stubborn and strong-willed. And she talks about Litta Nade, who I think is Coral, who's apparently the only famous sorceress to ever come from Skellige. She has a Gwent card, right? Yeah,
she does, and it's the artifact compression. Her name, actually, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's Icelandic. It's like Litta Ned Jortsson daughter, like Dottir.
Yeah.
So they throw in like the Icelandic stuff for her there. And so, she's from Skellige, and she's actually from the book. She's from Season of Storms, where she meets up with Geralt in somewhere in the north. I guess it's not Kovir. Is it Kovir? I think it might be Kovir. I'm going to say Kovir, but that might be wrong. And then obviously she was at Sodden Hill, and her death in the show did not do. It was rough in the show, but it wasn't exactly the same, was it? Were her arms and legs cut off in the show too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They were. Okay. Never mind. I guess it did.
I was going to say that I didn't know if that was it or not.
Oh yeah. Like Triss makes comment of it in Blood of Elves that she can still hear.
Yeah,
like Coral screaming, like, because she was still alive as she got completely like just dismembered by all this stuff. So that was the horror of Sodden Hill that they at least put in there.
God, that was rough. I don't know if you see it or not in the show. I think you must do, because otherwise that wouldn't be in my head. I wouldn't know that unless I'd seen it in the show. So
I think it is too, but I would also think that would stick with me more if it was in there, but it was also a long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't watched the first series in ages.
No, I have an idea for that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. Part of something that hopefully we can roll out later.
Okay, how mysterious.
Yeah. Wait, teasing. There's other things we can tease too in a couple weeks, but we can't really do that.
Oh, do you know what? I was actually thinking about that before the episode. I don't know who's worse at keeping secrets, me or you.
I have only blown one thing when I was drinking on stream. And that was that we were interviewing Misha Simpson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else have I blown?
I don't know, but I think we were both. It's when we're on stream and we're just talking. And
Wait, what have you blown? What have you blown?
I don't think I've said anything on stream, but because people on my stream always guess.
Yeah.
And my face, no, I can't. I have no poker face.
You don't got a poker face.
No. Okay. So somebody, it's always Polly or it's MJags. They'll type something in the chat and I'm like, nope. And then suddenly I'm like, oh.
Because you answer them, and then once it's there, you're just
nope.
I'm playing a video game right now. No, yeah, you gotta have that poker face.
Yeah, I just don't respond now.
Yeah, I just say yes to everything. I'm just like, yep, that's it. Anybody else? Yep, that's it. Nope, that's it. Good guess.
It's actually Henry Cavill and Freya Allen both coming on. They're actually coming to my house, and we're going to interview them here for live from my studio.
Is that before or after we meet them in Amsterdam for Twitch?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're going to sort it all out there. How did I get so off track?
That was probably me.
I think the last person that I noted speaking to is Queen Berna again, and we get to speak with her a little bit and her son Svanriga. And I don't know what I think of Svanriga, but she seems like an overbearing mother.
Yeah.
Very
he seems like
so.
A shithead kid, like spoiled kid that mommy wants, taking control over him, and very domineering, very strong at that. Yeah. And then, daddy's dead. They really could have gone, I guess I'm kind of spoiling by saying what they didn't, but they really could have gone like a Joffrey, Cersei route here.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And for good reason. Like Svanriga just comes to be, like I said, he's just a shithead kid. Although how old is he supposed to be now that I don't know.
I don't know what age any of them are supposed to be, because they are like we kind of, at the start of the quest, we get sat with them and it feels kind of like we're at the kids' table at a party. And like all the
Jarl's
moms and
kids,
dads,
yes.
yeah, exactly.
The
All the
Jarl's
moms
kids.
and dads are over, talking about politics and whatnot. And we're just at the kids' table, racing up and down the mountain or whatever.
Yeah, doing drunken games.
But I think Ceres is meant to be the same age as Ciri. So maybe, late teens, 20 is she meant to be in the game?
Wait a minute. Now that you mentioned that, that does throw off the timeline of the kids.
Does it?
Because Ciri, well, yeah, because no, Ceres had, you're right. Again, I didn't think about that. Ceres, sorry, God bless it. Ciri and Hjalmar were like childhood friends to the point of where they were engaged. Like they were engaged to each other. But Calantha was just like, yeah, Ciri is not marrying some Skellige. Like, get the fuck out of here. And like Hjalmar's heartbroken, and Ciri kind of was, not as much as Hjalmar though. Like that's in the books when they were children, but there was no Ceres.
Yeah.
Or Caris. I should say Caris too, if you're doing the Gaelic pronunciation, with the hard C. Yeah. We're doing soft C. Ceres isn't in the books. So they do. They kind of just, because at first I was just like, no, she has to be much younger because the books only ended 4 years ago. I'm like, well, she can't be 4 years old.
No.
So I guess they right. They just kind of teleport her in. I guess this is one of those things that you just change for your adaptation where you're taking stuff from the books, but not everything they put in, which, I mean, forcing in a woman, forced diversity. Man, damn it. Women. I know.
God, politics, women, so woke.
Throwing women in games. Joking. For anybody new, joking.
Oh yeah, new people.
But now that's gonna drive me crazy. I wish I would have thought of that before. Why'd I say before? Before. Am I sounding Northern Irish? Before. Yes, because she does seem to be about their age. Because Hjalmar would be, which is early 20s now, like 21 or something like that by this time in the games.
Yeah, so maybe they aged up Hjalmar, because Crack definitely says later on when he speaks about Ciri, he says something about how, Ciri and Ceres are the similar age, I'll help you find her, da da da.
Weird. I'm definitely going to have to look into that. And anybody who knows that or has something on it, let us know. Tweet us, put it in the Discord, put it in the YouTube comment, put anything in the YouTube comments.
We'll go for it and we'll read it out for sure, unless it hasn't got any punctuation.
So yeah, not that last thing.
So I'm pretty much done now with talking to everyone. We've talked to everyone around the room. And Yennefer wants to talk in private. So you go to the back of the room and we go down and speak with Yennefer, and she tells us about her plan. The plan is to break into Ermien's lab and steal the mask of Ouroboros. Why? She won't tell us why.
See, I've always heard this as Ouroboros.
Well, that's how it reads.
Yeah. But this is something like real.
It is?
Ouroboros is real. It is the snake eating its own tail to signify like something never ending or like infinity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that's like from like actual.
That's definitely how it reads. And then I was thinking how to pronounce this. I don't want to pronounce things wrongly, but Yennefer says it Ouroboros.
Yeah, they say Ouroboros because it's something. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's eating its own tail. It's ancient Greek. I thought it was like Egyptian. Oh, it is. There it is. Ancient Egyptian iconography and Greek magical traditions. So somebody over there. So no, this is something from like real life. And if you look on the loading screen, if for some reason you haven't played this game enough or look on it, the Witcher 3 loading screen in the bottom right corner is Ouroboros.
Oh,
it's the snake eating its own
tail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Well, yeah. So I was saying she says we need to steal this mask, but she won't tell us why. And we get like a good vibe for the Geralt-Yen relationship in these conversations, because he's just like, so I bet you're not going to tell me why. And she's like, no, come this way, go over there, do this, do that, da, da, da. She's very, not forceful, but she's very much in charge.
Is this cute or is this kind of sad?
I don't know. I don't know, because I like it because I like Geralt and Yen. And like, I know that Geralt doesn't take shit, does he?
No, he kind of does. Like I said, he's kind of a mopey bitch from the books and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is kind of one of those things that, when you look at stuff from like 50s TV, very back in the day, it was very much man controlling woman. And this is maybe something put in to be like, oh no, look, women can control men.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because at times with your options, you can choose like, hey, don't boss me around, or I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you do, I don't know, because like when he brings it up, it's almost like it's bothering him.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't bother him, then it's fine. Like,
yeah, exactly.
she's in control. He trusts what she's doing.
He does.
So it's kind of that vibe that they put in, depending on how you play it. Like if you don't like it, you can say, hey, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
If you do like it, you can just roll with it. So maybe that's just kind of where that little dissonance comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like you say, he does trust her, and he knows that she knows what she's doing, and he knows that she loves Ciri and that she would do anything for Ciri. So I guess he probably wouldn't accept it from someone he didn't have that trust in.
Yeah. And speaking of this mask, yeah, she's definitely going to do anything.
Yeah.
What Yen does in Skellige is basically, I don't fucking care about anything other than finding Ciri.
That's it. Yeah, it gets pretty wild. But we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, we're in a room filled with very lifelike stuffed animals, which suddenly come to life, and we have to start fighting them. Until all of a sudden we're passed out, and it turns out that Geralt was hallucinating, and Yen had to calm him down, and she gives him a load of shit for this. Like, regardless of, you can either say, oh wow, that was embarrassing, or something like, let's never talk of this again. And either way, she's just like, oh, don't worry, we've passed the trials of taxidermy, and now we can pass on to the next room. She really just gives him hell, which I thought was hilarious. But again, just her teasing him more and more.
Yen's got jokes. And I do like that he's like, we're never going to speak of this. And she says, naturally, but I'm going to give you shit for this now.
Yeah. So
we don't ever have to speak of it, but I got to give you shit.
Yeah, like, I'm going to give you shit. Don't worry, I won't embarrass you in front of everyone else.
No,
between you and me, we're talking about it.
Because again, what a scene. Geralt's just pirouetting around at these stuffed animals and like in his like crazed Witcher mind. Just like, Geralt.
It's quite funny as well, because before you move on to the next room, you can walk around the room and all of the taxidermied animals are like cut up, or they've got their heads chopped off now. And he said that before he was going around saying how perfect and lifelike they all looked, and now they're just like chopped to bits.
Well, I just love that not only is Ermion going to say, oh man, someone, stole this mask or took it, he's going to come and be like, what the fuck? Like, who came in and just killed all? Yes, they came in and just vandalized all these stuffed animals. Jeez.
So the next room, it's just another room, and there's loads of things you can investigate and look at. But essentially, there is a statue, and he's holding his hand out like this, and they kind of figure out that you have to place something into the statue's hand to open a door. And you can put in a pine cone, which will do nothing. You can put in a skull, which will do nothing. And then there's a mug of mead, which you put in, and it opens a secret passage. There was loads of stuff in this room to look at. Did you find anything of interest at all?
Well, there was that one thing mentioned, I think it was the boat or whatever, where it mentioned Ciri, where they say Ciri said Uncle.
Yeah, it was something she made, like a wood.
Uncle Ermion. There you go. I was about to say Uncle Vesemir, but I was like, that's not it.
No, not that one.
Uncle Ermion, and that's what she called him.
Yeah.
Good, easy way for them to put in like, hey, there's a close relationship here going back to childhood.
Yeah.
And then that map, the outdated map, which is obviously before the invasion, or it could be before any of the wars, because in the lore, this is the third Nilfgaardian invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, I guess it's not really a place people are going to go to anyway. So like an outdated map is fine.
Yeah. I think, is it right that Skellige is kind of largely left alone by Nilfgaard as well, because they don't care about them, because they're just like a bunch of pirates just occasionally.
Well, I mean, they raid them.
Yeah.
Like they raid Nilfgaard, and they'll even raid, that was the big thing with Calantha marrying Iced Twercech, was uniting them to where then they won't get raided.
Yeah.
They won't get raided essentially by Skellige. And it was a good little pact against Nilfgaard right there. And a good little pact, you can say, the rest of the north too. But no, like they made in those two widows that talked at the wake, they mentioned raiding Nilfgaardians and taking hostages and getting killed by some of them, like boarding the ships. So that's pretty much what it is. And we'll hear them bring that up too about, these little pissant raids against Nilfgaard. Like, Nilfgaard's going to come for y'all eventually. Yeah. And they're like, they don't care. They say bring it on, but
they do.
It's probably not something you want.
Yeah, Yennefer makes a comment as well when they're slating Nilfgaard. She's like, little raids here and are fine, but you don't want to get involved in a full-on war with the Empire because it won't go well.
And it's another thing too, as we get to the island, the isles and the islands and all that, I'm going to have to try to find one to kind of see how they get their food. Obviously fish.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously fish is a big thing, but like grain, are they, because again, you kind of can't really raid everything. Like you can't just raid everybody.
No, you can't just continuously raid to get stuff.
And it's a problem that I had with the Iron Islands in Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, was these are all rock islands. Like I think they fish, obviously.
Yeah.
They don't grow anything. And I'm like, that's not sustainable.
No.
To literally just raid for all of your food that isn't fish. Like eventually someone's going to come for you and it's just not going to work. Or you're not going to get enough. Like the population would not, but I guess if all the men are dying at age 30 something because they're all raiding, because you don't have to worry about population control. So that's something here that's just the stupid medieval logistics in my mind are, how are you feeding them? How are you feeding this army and these pirates? Because, you know, as it was Napoleon probably apocryphally said, an army marches on its stomach.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Napoleon, he kind of knew what he's talking about.
Yeah, he did. So this is the final room. The secret door opens and we see the mask of Ouroboros, and it's being protected by, what is it? An earth elemental, which is taken down pretty easily. You can step back and let Yen take care of it, and she will eventually kill it, but it's much quicker if you get involved as well. But as soon as the earth elemental has been defeated, the room starts filling with poisonous gas. This is just one of those quests where it's just like, bam, bam, there's another thing, another thing, another thing. So the only way to get out is for Yen to teleport you. And she says, quick, think of something, the first thing that comes to your mind, and you get a timed decision. First option is something like, we need to get out of here fast. And you'll teleport straight back to the wake. You kind of abruptly land in on the tables and nobody really bats an eyelid at it. You just kind of brush yourself off and continue speaking to everyone.
I guess the drinks have been flowing.
Yeah.
That they're just, hey.
Oh, okay. Carry on as you were. Second option is something like, I really want to kiss you right now, Yen. Like, damn, I want to kiss you. And you teleport back to Yennefer's room. And Yen says that her dress has got a hole in it and she needs to stitch it back up. And she makes a little comment like, no, I don't sew, I'll enchant the needle. So she's just so sassy all the time. And then you get another option where you can just say, oh, we really need to get back. And Yen will go straight back. Or you can say something like, wouldn't mind watching.
Yeah, watching.
Yeah. And this leads to the kind of infamous unicorn love scene, which I didn't do, obviously, on my first playthrough.
Because you thought it was going to get TOS'd. Yeah. So this came up. I was rewatching this on the iPad at the gym on the treadmill today, and when that was coming up, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like grabbed it, kind of held it down, and was like fast clicking, like skip as I'm like running, and I'm like, "Okay, it's so not that is not what I want." First off, people already looking at it going like,
why is he watching The Witcher?
Watching, I highly doubt they even knew what the hell The Witcher is anyway. Yeah. I probably think it's like anime or some shit like that. So it's dorky enough. Yeah. And then, like, I did not need to be kicked out or asked to leave my local rec center because I've got naked fucking pixels on here.
Yeah. But one of the funniest bits for me is before they move to the unicorn, they're just kind of making out. And Yennefer like stops and she turns to look at something, and Geralt turns around and goes, oh no. Because I think they've done this on the unicorn before and it broke. And Yennefer was like, yay, I got it fixed. And Geralt was like, God damn it. Like, not again.
That unicorn.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless of what option you make, you end up back at the wake. And at this point, the claimants to the throne are making themselves known. So a few people put their swords in the mix, one of them being Svanriga, who is the son of Bran and Birna, sorry. And you can see he's kind of being encouraged by his mom, puts his sword in. A lot of other guys do too. And then lastly, it's Cerys. So she goes and throws her little dagger in, the only woman to do so, and her father doesn't seem very happy about it. But after that, this is when we finally go and speak to Crack outside. So it's Crack, Geralt, and Yen. And Crack is just saying how he, remembers Calanthe, remembers Pavetta, And he asks what Syria's like, because if she's anything like those two, she's going to be a handful. Geralt says she's practically uncontrollable. She does whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And yeah, they're trying to find her. That's all they discuss, really. And then Crack says something like, I know she's alive. Like, I know you're looking for her, but I can tell that she's alive, because when the blood of Rhiannon's daughters is shed, the sea grows white with fury. So, and he was like, if there was a storm like that, I would know about it. So Rhiannon, who is that referring to?
Rhiannon is from the line of Lara Doran.
Yeah.
And it's one of Ciri's names. Ciri's name is Cirilla, Fiona, Ellen, Rhiannon. So it's just one of those down the line list of it. It gets kind of confusing too, like Codringer and Finn, with whose actual daughter, I think it's Fiona's.
Yeah.
Like Lara Doran, then like Fiona's daughter or something with Fiona, her children of like taken and who was what. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's just one of those names way back
down the line.
But that whole, when elder blood or whatever he called it gets shed, there's a big storm. How scientific is that? Like, at what level are these storms, and how many times has that elder blood been shed that he knows, like, oh, it's that storm? Is he talking about like Pavetta's death?
Yeah.
At that storm that was raised by somebody?
Oh, yeah. And then would Calanthe count? Because obviously Calanthe is part of the line, but she wasn't like technically elder blood, was she?
Yeah, she's part of the line, but she did not.
She didn't have the powers or anything.
Elder blood. Pavetta did. And then Adelia, is that her name? Calantha's mother, I think, is Adelia. Adalia. I think it's Adelia, right? She did. I believe she had it too.
Yeah. Oh, because I know in the TV show, Calanthe says to Pavetta, I know my mother had this power, but I thought it had skipped you like it skipped me. So maybe Calanthe's mother had it. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of, I just kind of missed the Lioness of Cintra there.
Weird. Very weird. Yennefer kind of catches Crack up on the whole crack with Ermion not allowing them to search this magical site. And Crack kind of says, our Skellige is my isle, and you have permission to do whatever you want there. Just don't pay any attention to Ermion. And his only request from us is that we help out his kids. And he says they're both off on adventures that they feel will deem them to be king or queen. Hjalmar has sworn an oath to go and kill a giant on the Isle of Undvik. This giant has kind of shown up out of nowhere and has forced all of the islanders off the land. So Hjalmar has said he'll go and win the island back for them. And Ceres has announced that she's off on an adventure, that she believes that Udalric is not mad but cursed, and she wants to lift this curse for Udalric to prove herself worthy to be queen. And that's kind of where we leave off. Yennefer says that she's going to go and change into some traveling gear, and we'll meet her later on in the game. And I think you have to decide if you're going to do one or... Can you do both of these quests with the kids, but you kind of have to decide which one to do first? Or... No,
because, again, spoiler alert, whoever you do becomes Jarl.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
High Jarl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to Spikarug. Ceres is going to Spikarug. And I like this elective monarchy thing where they actually get to pick and vote on it. That's a good idea. I don't like that it seems to be done on feats, though. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna go kill this giant. Okay, you can lead us. It's like, well, how about you just pick the most
reasonable,
maybe the
normal
best
person.
Candidate? Yes, like this, y'all are ahead of it. The despotic hereditary monarchy is not good. It's not.
There we go.
Somehow though, y'all, England, United Kingdom, y'all still got a damn monarchy.
I know. It's really weird.
And where we're going, the Netherlands have one too.
Do they? I didn't know that.
They do. They still have, I think it's a king.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I have no idea.
Know. I'm gonna go tell him what's up though. I'm sure we can just walk right up, be like, "Yo, King,
what's up?
Yo, Orange King." Yeah, but that's right. Y'all don't. That's right, Britain. Y'all don't even have like a government anymore, do y'all?
It's pretty much collapsed within the last 24 hours. Yeah, I think it was so funny. So last night they had. So this is the most resignations any prime minister has known in his cabinet ever. And last night on the news, I wasn't watching it myself, but last night they had a literal like ticker. I imagine it like a widget on the screen here. How many people have resigned?
It's like a
and it was like
ticker.
ticking up. It was going up till 60 odd people had resigned. And today Boris said that he's going to resign as well.
So the number 10 cat is in charge now, right?
Larry is in charge, yes.
Good.
I think anyway. So he hasn't resigned officially yet, but I think if Boris hadn't have done, Larry might have packed his bags.
The superior choice is the kitty, the Downing Street kitty.
But now we're thinking there's going to be like another election or something. I don't know. I can't be arsed with it, to be honest.
Well, hopefully the planes just. I was about to say the planes run on time. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. Not trains running on time. The planes go. Whatever. We're getting in there. Okay, that's gonna do it. We're in Skellige though. I cannot believe we're there. Although we just saw it was only. We haven't even been doing this for a year. No,
we started in like November or something, I think.
Yeah, it was November. We had the Nightmare of the Wolf one that came out, which I don't think that technically. I don't think I put. That's not even in the feed. I think I took that one out. I think I did because I wanted the first one for people to get to the first episode
of the game. Yeah,
because Nightmare wasn't us like together, like doing it yet.
I would
have still called it. I would have still called it Whispers of Oxford.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been confusing. I'm sure there'll be a time, maybe something down the line, we will be able to do that. But that is going to do it. You can find us on Twitter at Witcher Podcast, email witcherpod@gmail.com, Instagram at WitcherPod. Put the link to Lucy's Discord in there. We have a separate channel in there specifically for the podcast. We put behind the scenes stuff in there. We put teasers, any kind of new information we're going to put in there first. So if you use Discord, make sure to check that out. Again, as always, if you're watching this, you know that we are on YouTube. We're on the Gwentfinity channel by 943. Please, if you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. Please comment underneath with something we were wrong about, something you really liked, anything about it. Those comments, especially when it first comes out, really, really, really helps the almighty and holy algorithm, which is all we have to aspire to, please, for YouTube. So again, make sure you check that out as well. Lucy, where can people find you?
I will be found at Lucy J. Robin on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I think now is a good time to get involved in Instagram, especially because this time next week we're going to be in Amsterdam and there's going to be so many of our former guests on here. Not all of them, but quite a lot of the guests who helped, who joined us to discuss the Netflix series. So Basic, Lionheart, Tia, Sealy, maybe. I think they're all going to be in Amsterdam. So I'm going to be Spessy. I'm going to be gunning to get team pics of all of us for my Instagram posts. So if you want to see them, get involved at Lucy J. Robin or Witcher Pod as well.
Absolutely. And I don't have mine down there, but it's easily found. I think it's might be on my Twitter. Anyway, it's on there. Find me on Twitter at the Fox Bride 4. Find me on Twitch at the Fox Bride. Join us next time, which when the episode comes out, we will be I will be on a plane on the way back. You will be back home.
I'll be at work. Weekend. Oh, I'll be miserable.
You will be working and I'll be more miserable on a 10-hour flight from Frankfurt, Germany back. Yeah. So, but again, a new episode will come out as always on Mondays. So check us out next time as we hear some echoes of the past.